There we go. Somehow I seem to have lost my original microphone. Those of you who are in the room, you remember I usually have this big, nice microphone. I'm going to try to speak loudly enough. People on the Zoom are responding to me, so it does seem like they can hear me. But it may be that I don't know how well the laptop microphone works, so it may be that when you're speaking, you might have to speak up a little bit. And if you're a guest speaker, you might actually want to come up here so that you're nice and close to the laptop. And with that being said, okay, thank you, Robin. And with that being said, I'm gonna share my screen because okay, where is the share screen button? There we go. Because I did something very unusual and I actually made a PowerPoint for this meeting, which I usually don't do. Okay, now the thing is, all right. Do the people on the Zoom see this presentation? And I can't see the chat, so if you're saying yes, you're gonna need to say that out loud.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, wonderful. So my name is Ernest. I am the president of this Patterson Park Neighborhood Association. Those of you who are joining us by Zoom, we appreciate you here, but I do want to let you know you are missing out on some fantastic pumpkin cookies that are here in the room. So with that being said, one of the things that I often get asked is, what exactly are the boundaries of Patterson Park Neighborhood Association? So I'm going to start actually just doing this at the beginning of every meeting. Here are the boundaries, and here are the names of your board members, your VPs who represent each sector. So if you know where you live, then you can now see the name of the person who represents you in the sector. And those are also the, I guess, the executive board members. I don't know what they're, anyway, there's the president, that's me. There is the treasurer, who is Amanda Rhodes, and then there is the secretary, Elena, who is here in the room with us. Okay, and with that being said,
I don't think we can see the slides, honestly. We're just seeing, yeah, the slides aren't moving. Robin is also messaged to that. We're just seeing.
Yeah, we always use the title slide.
It doesn't look like the presentation is actually presenting. It looks like it's kind of in that state where you're still able to edit it.
Let's see. If I change it to this one, does that help?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay, you see a sector map now?
sure do.
Yep.
Okay. And if I do this, do things start appearing and disappearing?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So today's meeting, as we said in our emails and our social media posts, is about trees. Now, we have a guest speaker tonight who is, I'm sorry, was it Lenita?
Yes.
Lenita from BGE. They have a grant opportunity for us to apply to in order to get some trees. And I'm gonna not say any more in introduction. I'm just gonna invite Lenita to come on up. And please give her a warm welcome. And let's see, and I'm gonna have to change the share screen here because, yeah, I'm realizing that it's this one. Okay. All right, and I need somebody to tell me if you see a BGE presentation now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
here's hoping this is working, but if not, we'll fiddle around with it. I think it's actually probably that one. Okay.
Okay.
Take it away.
Perfect. So I don't know, can they see me here if I stay here? Or no? Oh, yeah, I think I can see myself on the camera.
Yes.
So I'm Anita Dora. I just want to make sure people on the call can see me because everyone in the room can. I work with BGE on the community engagement team. And we're a relatively new team to BGE. We are probably in existence about 2 years. We have a social responsibility team that works in the community, but the community engagement team kind of works in a different capacity, connecting directly with associations regarding different types of work in the community, where your direct points of contact for like different, maybe community-related issues, project-related issues. We also give out information about energy assistance, energy efficiency programs, all of those types of things. So I learned about this community meeting through some contact that my director had with Ernest and Delegate Lewis, I believe. And we are basically here to kind of talk more about the grant, but I also wanted to couple in a few other things that we have going on and other opportunities that may be beneficial for anyone in your community. So I'm gonna just go through this slide really quickly here. Let me see. So this is just the overview of our team, our mission, vision, the values. Want to create that two-way dialogue with the community and, you know, share those opportunities with you all. Attending a lot of association meetings like this all across our service territory. So,
Excuse me, double check for a second. So on the Zoom, she changed the slide. It should now say community engagement, mission, vision, and values. Do you see that?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, it's working. All right,
Great.
cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna click to the next one. So just a little quick overview. Energy assistance and savings programs. These are just some programs that I know of within the BGE realm that a lot of people don't know of, or maybe be taking advantage of, but just want to share them. On our webpage, we have a new program called Power to Take Charge. You can use this assistance finder and find out information about energy assistance programs for you or your neighbors that exist to help with grant money towards your bills. These programs have recently changed from just the federal income ratios to now the state of Maryland focus. So it's based off of, you know, the cost of living here, which means there's a lot more money there. It's like if your household income is at like $3,500, you can still qualify a month and things like that. So you know, go to our website, put in Power to Take Charge. You can learn more about this on top of other programs that have to do with just energy savings opportunities inside your home. So this is the quick home energy checkup. A lot of people take advantage of this. Someone comes into your home and does a checkup, and these items here, they will offer them to you for free. You know, a new shower head, light bulbs, power surge, different things like that. And they'll look at your home and say, okay, this is where you're losing some energy here, different things like that. And, you know, you can sign up for free. I think it's once every couple of years. And you know, feel free to take advantage of that. Through that Power to Take Charge link, they will give you these opportunities as well. And then there's also the Home Energy Star program. This one is at a cost, but it'll give you some grant money towards basically insulation and different things like that in your home. So definitely take a look at those, look at that Power to Take Charge website, because those are things that can actually happen within your community in your own personal home, and grant opportunities or assistance opportunities for you and your neighbors. So to the stuff that you asked about, BGE grants. So in particular, it was brought to my attention that you all are interested in the green grants, which is basically our environmental stewardship, is one of BGE's core values. Our commitment to natural resources, responsibility, and to prevent pollution, improve energy efficiency, and green grants are being offered to communities in the service area. So I have here's a QR code that will take you to the website that talks all about these programs. But I do have another slide here that goes over the qualifications for them. It must be a 501c3 nonprofit with a board of directors, and I think I was informed that you all do have that, which is great. Yes. And then the grants can range from $2,500 to $10,000. Grant funds are limited to 10% of operating budget. Grants will be considered for new and existing programs that are clearly demonstrated improvement in environment efforts of the community. All applications must include project budget indicating how grant dollars will be spent. The project must be located geographically in the BGE service territory, which you all are. BGE grant engagement is preferred but not required. Organizations meet all grant guidelines. Description for eligibility you must meet all grant guidelines for description or eligibility. Organizations who receive green grants will not be eligible for another grant in 2023. So this is the information for, I should have said 2024 here, but it's also a competitive grant and it's subject to change. Right now, if you look on the website, it'll say the applications are open. They are not. So look out for applications to open back up for 2024. Also, if there's any changes to this grant, we would notify those parties interested. So I added you all to the list. I also have a point of contact who is in our social responsibility office who extended her direct contact to your association. And if you have any questions regarding these types of grants. Now, since this grant is closed for this year, which it's almost out of this year, but there are some other opportunities that fall into these different focus areas that are on our webpage. And I love QR codes. I have another QR code so that you all can take a look at any of these to see if they also offer opportunities for your 501c3. So I would say mainly focus, just thinking that one that may fall in the area for you all is the energy empowerment to communities. So take a look at that. It prioritizes programs focused on clean air, water resiliency, fighting the effects of climate change, the innovative use of promotion and alternative sources of energy, environmental stewardship. And we also work to sustain families and self-sufficient by supporting programs to assist community members facing the most significant financial challenges and instability. So one of the things I know that I worked on with the company was there is a home in East Baltimore, and the name of it is escaping me, but we went there and we helped them. Yeah, sure. We helped them get some like lower cost like thermostats and things like that in their building, because their building's an old high school. So things like that you can think of, or opportunities that may exist within your community. We're definitely open to that outside of just the green grants. And then any of these other areas, not to pigeonhole anyone, just wanted to put those out there just because I know that sometimes when you're looking at the green grant, sometimes you fall also into the area of the energy empowerment in communities. So, and in addition to that, I have included the charitable contribution webpage link here. And I can send this out as well to give out information to everybody. You can take a look here. There are grants that are readily available. We have grants for also that I didn't include here, like small business each year. We do a small business grant. We do it all over the service territory. Several businesses in Baltimore City have benefited from that. It's also a lot of workforce development opportunities that we have on this webpage as well. Workforce development is a big thing. We support a lot of the high schools in Baltimore City and bringing in high school interns into different programs. And a lot of them end up working in like our fleet department and different business areas throughout the company. So those are all of the grant opportunities that I have here. And then in addition to that, our team is hosting a community open house in the Baltimore City area in December. These are the dates and my QR codes to sign up if you would like to participate. I can also share this with you all. At that event, we will have a number of different business areas there to kind of talk about what they do, including the social responsibility, we call it corporate community impact, CCI. Their team will be there. They will have a table there and can talk to you about the different workforce development opportunities and other things like that, on top of questions about projects in your area, all the energy efficiency and energy efficiency programs. And we'll have some, fun prizes and giveaways and things like that as well. So please hope to see you there. And I'll stop here because I've been doing a lot of talking and let you guys ask any questions you may have.
All right. Anybody in the, yeah, when do you expect the applications to open for the trees in the year?
I didn't get a firm date, if I'm 100% honest, for next year, but I've heard that they usually open in the first quarter. Okay. So they haven't defined what date it is yet. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I think most of the grants across the board are not open in the first quarter.
No, I believe the other grant opportunities that exist, they're open now and consistently. So I think you can look into those for any part of the year, with the exception of the small business opportunities. They come in like segments. So there'll be like segment 1 and segment 2, then segment 3, and that's when you can kind of like apply to those. So they'll tell you when they open and close. And we usually do like a press release and like some announcements regarding that. So since I have Ernest's email, I can include him in that mailing list so that those notifications will happen.
Thanks, appreciate it.
But when you're a community open house,
Mhm.
will that include agencies from the city, or will it just be BGE and private concern?
It'll just be BGE with the exception of possibly OHAP, because we're looking to how to get people signed up for energy assistance on the side.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, it's the Office of Home Energy Program. So when I mentioned earlier, energy assistance, those programs go through the OHAP, Maryland Office of Energy, Office of Home Energy Program. So we'll have someone there to hopefully try to get people signed up directly so that they can get their, if they're coming in with a bill that's past due, we can kind of get that all solidified. You got BGE and OHAP all in the house to kind of help the people out. So that's the only agency at this time, but I do, and all throughout 2024, this is the first of its kind. We haven't done events like this in the past, but all through 2024, we're going to be hosting things like this throughout the service territory. So the hope is to include other agencies as well to share their information, see fit that we have a large enough video. Yeah.
Is this thing gonna be online? Can we check? If I go online, will I see the dates on there if I go to community?
So
Or-
we are going to be blasting them out, but they're not loaded online just yet. They will be loaded on this week though. Yes, if you look up community, BGE community open house.
But if I give you my card, would you send me that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question.
I think I'm taking that gentleman's question over here,
Mhm.
but as far as open house goes, is it like opportunities for vendors or is BGE the sole vendors and you can be a guest?
We're the sole vendors, and then you will be a guest. It's the opportunity. So we get our team gets a lot of questions every we go into community meetings, but people are like, I have wires down in my neighborhood. I have paving issues. I have this. So we're just kind of take a platform to kind of take in those questions, try to resolve those issues for you all, get that information, be in the community asking them, because I feel like a lot of times our care center, they do a great job, but they're focused on like billing and different things like that. So we want to be in the community to kind of offer those type of guidance as to how to manage those questions. The same way when my good friends at DPW go out and they talk about how 311 works. We got to get our message out as well and what our process is so that we can kind of help people so they don't have these issues going on in their community for so long and they're frustrated with them. So we'll have several different business areas from the social responsibility and community engagement team all the way to like just vegetation, project management, and paving in the room to kind of assist people on what to do when they have these challenges in their community.
Okay, so we have Delegate Robin Lewis has a question, but apparently the sound is not working for her. I think it was working for others, but maybe she can type it into the chat here and you can see it. And actually, I'm gonna just stop share here so that we can all.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Yes, Delegate Lewis, we see you in the chat.
Can you really not hear me, guys?
Actually, while she's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and stop just a little bit.
Robin, I could hear you. I'm on
Oh,
Zoom.
can you, William?
so-
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe
We're
can
doing
they
this
hear you
because
though?
we-
We can hear you online, but
I
I
would
don't
like to
think
have
they
a
can hear
tree
you.
on my block. I would like to have
Yeah,
it. on my
we're
neighborhood.
totally
How do I
isolated in
do
this.
that? Do I have to do
Cyberspace.
outside the city? Do I need permits and so on and so forth? And so what I can tell you is that we do know the process and we can guide you through it. I am going to be very honest with you, however, and say that the board currently does not have the capacity to apply for these grants. It's because we are doing a whole bunch of other things, which I will spend the rest of this meeting talking to you about. And I don't want to be the kind of neighborhood association president who makes promises I can't keep. So I am telling you right now, if you want a tree, we will tell you what to do. We will tell you who to contact. There's, for example, an agency called Miss Utility who will go out and mark, here's where the water line is, don't dig here, and so on and so forth. And we can also tell you, physically how you do it. Well, after you apply for the grant, you can use some of that money to rent a jackhammer from Home Depot and do it, or you can hire a contractor to do it for you. All kinds of things like that. Delegate Robin Lewis has all of this documented in great detail. So we can tell you what to do. We can tell you how to write the grant. However, we need somebody to step up and do this for us, because as I'm going to explain for the rest of this meeting, we have so many other things on our plates that I cannot, in all honesty, tell you that we're able to do this for you. Did Delegate Lewis type up anything else? Okay, okay.
And I can do them. Does BGE have any class templates for the application, sample template for the budget guidelines or application? I don't know the answer to that question, but I can reach out to Rotika and I'll also share that with the team to try to find out if they do have some information like that they can share with your community.
Okay, so they're saying that I don't know why they can hear each other, but we don't hear you in the room. I don't know why that is. I'll have to. Can someone try speaking again? See if that works.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden we can hear you now.
Okay, well, this is Delegate Lewis, and I did include in the chat a thank you to the BGE liaison. So thank you very much for coming out on an evening. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming here. You're literally, this is my neighborhood, so this is my neighborhood association. So it's extra nice to have someone here with us. And my question was about the application itself. Typically, grant makers have sample budgets and a format so that applicants get an idea of what's expected. So if that ever becomes available, you know, I'm assuming it would be available on your website for the grant application, but it's always helpful. And then the other thing I mentioned is that I am the person who conceived, created, founded, and ran the PP&A Greening Committee. I started it back in 2009 and I ran it for about 3 years. And during that time, we raised over $70,000 and planted almost 150 trees. I also have been planting trees in this neighborhood since 2002. So if anybody is interested in learning how to tree plant, picking up Greening Committee, we were a pioneer neighborhood in the city. We were model neighborhood for greening, community greening. And I, hope to see us maintain our standing as a leader citywide. But if anyone's interested in developing grant applications for tree planting, you want to know how it's done, you really couldn't have a better person than me because I figured it all out 20 years ago. Happy to help.
True.
I also think it's worth saying, Ernest, that if with the way I did things neighborhood wide, and it can be really helpful for the neighborhood to have a centralized, like I created the Greening Committee that organized neighborhood-wide plantings. We organized block by block by block. In 2009, we organized 11 blocks and did plantings on 11 blocks. All of our grant applications were to support those 11 blocks. So it can be really strategically smart to organize several blocks at a time, write one set of grant applications, rather than piecemeal here and there, one person in the east sector and two people in the west sector, whatever. To centralize the process, you get a lot more done more quickly and efficiently, and it helps to build momentum for the whole neighborhood to pick up where we left off. So call on me. I am here. I'll put my email in the chat. And thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing that. I'll say right now on the webpage, because it says that it's open, even though it's not, which will be changing soon, you can look at the application, but I think I can work with Rotika to get you all some type of sample to see like what we're looking for.
That's great. I mean, I have 1,000 grant templates, but every donor is different. So any help, any guidance you can share with us would be wonderful. Thank you.
We have a question here from, I see Bethany is asking, is the board in need of volunteers to write? And the answer is yes, that is what I am asking for. And I agree with Delegate Lewis that, the way we should really do this is try to compile where are all the trees that we want to plant, on this block, on this block, on this block, and do it all together as one grant. It's just going to be much more effective that way. And you say PPNA is the eligible entity. Yes, we are, because you heard Lenita say that the applying organization has to be a 501c3, which PPNA is. And we file paperwork every year to that effect. So yes, we are a 501c3. We are eligible to apply for this grant. We just need a human to do it. And, none of us has the bandwidth to do it because of all the other things that I'm about to talk about. Do we have any final questions for Lenita about this BGE grant or about tree planting?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Sure, go for it.
Should I just shout or go up there?
I don't know if you guys can hear Joy talking right now. No, doesn't sound like it. Okay, just come on up here and yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joy. I also just wanted to plug that Baltimore City Rec and Parks has a free program called Tree Keepers. And they run it every fall and spring, and you can take 2 classes virtually, and then I think they have 2 additional, one for tree planting and one for tree pruning. But you get Ernest, not this Ernest, my husband Ernest over there took the class, but you get like a cute crew neck sweater and a little card that certifies you as a tree keeper. But they actually have a virtual class on December 20th, which is a Wednesday, December 12th, which is a Tuesday, on project management that walks you through the process of organizing a tree planting project in your neighborhood, like thinking about funding, how to do the permitting process, all of that. So that's a really good free resource for anyone interested. And it's also run by like the urban foresters at Rec and Park. So they have a lot of good tips on like picking the right kinds of trees, what is needed in the city, things like that. So just a quick plug for Tree Keepers.
Great, thank you. Is there an active greening committee? Well, there is a greening committee. It's not terribly active right now. That's what I'll say about that. And if you want to get involved, contact us. We'll get you set up with everything you need.
Ernest, did you see my message above that one?
Was it one that you just texted to my phone?
What I wrote in the chat, and you can see it just above Bethany's chat, I wrote, if you guys do not have an active greening committee anymore, I would be happy to organize a meeting and train a group of interested people who would like to pick up where we left off. I don't know when. I don't know what the continuity is, so we could just start from scratch. And because I created the PPNA Greening Committee, wrote all the grants, created the master plan. We have a green master plan. It's one of the first in the whole city that we could build on. If you just email me, anyone who's interested, Bethany, anyone else, I'd be happy to put together a group and educate and just support a rejuvenated greening process, okay? Because there's no point in starting from scratch. I am literally the most prolific greening organizer in Baltimore City. So take advantage of me being here. Email me.
Yes,
Thanks.
if any of you are interested in learning about this, do take up Robin Lewis on her offer. Okay. So with that being said, I am going to talk to you about, hang on. Okay, let's try this again. And you should be seeing, not that one. Okay, hang on. Okay. And you should be seeing a slide that says, what have we been doing lately? If you don't, then let me know. But I told you we've been busy, and here is some of what we've been up to. So a little free library over on Eastern and Elwood unfortunately got torched. And
So did the other one by Patterson Public House.
so did the other one over by Patterson Public House, and we're gonna work on that a little bit. But recently, this one over at Eastern and Elwood, we got it replaced. Elena, what's the name of your neighbor again?
Peaceman. Peaceman?
Keisman?
Yeah.
Okay, so, shout out to Elena and to her neighbor Keisman who put this together. This new pantry is made out of metal. So, you know, it's gonna be much harder to set on fire. And, we're not putting it out there as a challenge. We're just saying it's gonna be harder to set on fire. And, you know, we would like to replace others. I will say that in a previous PPNA meeting, when we were talking, because a pantry outside, there were two pantries outside of that corner near Patterson Public House, and one of them got torched. And we talked about that at a previous PPNA meeting, and we decided that we don't want to try to replace it until we have a security camera at Patterson Public House pointing over there so that we can, you know, catch somebody who has done this again. And unfortunately, the other free pantry at that corner has also been set on fire. What I will tell you though is that we are actively working on setting up those security cameras at Patterson Public House and at several other locations because, as we have mentioned in previous meetings, we received a grant for $45,000 to fund those security cameras. The board has recently agreed to pay Pi Time in order to upgrade their system and add some cameras there. We are working with Patterson Public House. We are also working with the New York Fried Chicken over on Highland Avenue because we know there's a lot of activity over there. But we are also looking for, you know, any other locations that you think might be a great place to have where a business would like to have some cameras, some nice high quality security cameras set up so that we can catch these sorts of things. It's $45,000, which Arch McCown likes to say it's a lot of money and it's also not a lot of money. But what I will tell you is that between those three locations, we still have money left to put up more cameras. So that is one thing that we've been doing. And we've also been, you know, we replaced this one, which is great. This post on Facebook went viral when I posted, but the property, the vacant lot at 101 and 103 Bradford, which you see pictured here, we have finally arranged for that to be purchased by Charm City Land Trust to be kept as a green space in perpetuity. I recently just signed the MOU, and my understanding is the closing on that transaction is going to be happening any day now. I don't actually know exactly when, but pretty soon. So it will officially, finally be out from the hands of slumlords and will be held by, you know, a nonprofit in order to keep it as a green space. And we are currently applying for grants in order to, right now, we're trying to level and replant that space. And then after that's done, that wall over there, it looks like it needs some repair. So we're probably gonna do that first. And then we're gonna put a mural. I understand there are plans to plant clover and native species and possibly a tree there. So those are some things that we're doing on that space over there. Thank you. Congratulations really should go to our board member, Lindsay Johnson Graham. And then we also have string lights that have gone up. This is my own block, the 200 block of North Port Street, which recently had some string lights added. And let's see. Oh, and then one other thing that we're working on is decorations on intersections for traffic calming. Now, I don't want to talk too much about that because actually we're going to have the artist come to our next meeting on December 11th to talk about that. But that is a grant that was, I think, in the amount of something like $100,000. So all of which is to say, PPNA does a lot of stuff. We bring a lot of money and investment into this community and we put it to work for you. And unfortunately, one thing that the grants don't pay for is our overhead. We're going to start trying to include that in our budgets, but currently we don't have a lot of grant money paying for our overhead. PPNA does not have a lot of overhead, but our overhead is not zero. Our overhead is things like we have a storage space, which we're trying to clear out, but currently it's still a storage space that costs $130 a month. We have our website, the domain, the service, which is Wix, which runs the website. And this Zoom meeting that you're on right now, that is a subscription for $15 a month. And a PO box, right? And a PO box. So again, it is not much, but during the pandemic, or I should say, let's step back for a second. I was a board member of this organization before the pandemic. I actually was first elected in 2019. And at that time, you know, we had a pretty robust bank account. And then during the pandemic, donations dried up, possibly because PPNA, frankly, was not really doing anything in the physical neighborhood. And we really need to recover from that. So, you know, if you made a donation of $20 right now, that's more than enough to cover a month of Zoom, for example. If everybody in this meeting and on the Zoom and everything made a donation, that would go a big, long way towards covering our expenses. Before the pandemic, if you look at our bank account before and after, and I'm going to ask our treasurer to actually make up a report for you so we can give that to you next month. But we had no donations coming in, so our budget went down by several $1,000s. And like I said, we don't need a lot, but we need something, and we cannot continue this way for several more years. So I have that URL, that web address up there on the slide for you. I'm going to ask Elena to actually type that into the chat so that it's a link that people can click online. There is also a QR code for those of you who are in the room, there's a QR code on the table back there, which will take you to the same place. Also, you can just go to the website and buy some swag, which is essentially the same as a donation. And if you do that, I will personally go and deliver the t-shirt or mug or koozie to you. Square was like, when we were setting up, Square was asking me, do you want to use our delivery service? And I was like, nope, we got this. I'm gonna save $2. So please, you know, Giving Tuesday is coming up. Please consider making a donation to PPNA. We are a 501c3 organization. We do have a way to give you a receipt to show you that you have made a tax-deductible donation if you need that. And thank you very much. Certainly, I also want to remind you, all of our board members are not paid. So 100% of your donation goes to something that keeps PPNA running. And as I have told you, we do a lot, considering that we have brought hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally, of investments and development into this neighborhood. I think that your return, if you want to think of it that way, is really quite good. Okay. That being said, hang on, let me just check my time here. Okay, I'm doing well. All right. So I just have one more thing to tell you about, which is about the red line. Now, normally, as your neighborhood association president, I am not supposed, I try to avoid imposing my own opinions and views onto meetings, but this is going to be one of those times when I really want to make sure you know about this, because I think this is very important. We all know about the red line. We all know that it is a probably once in a generation opportunity because it's just so hard to get mass transit investment happening in this city. And certainly I hope that I hope that we don't get derailed like we were last time. That being said, currently the red line, the MTA is taking feedback, and they are considering two modes of transit. One is called bus rapid transit and one is called light rail. Light rail you probably know about if you have ever ridden the light rail here in Baltimore City or in any number of other places, including San Francisco or Boston. But there's this other mode called bus rapid transit, and every time MTA does a presentation about the Red Line, they're saying like, yeah, so what do you think about bus rapid transit? And every time, whenever I'm there, I say, I don't want bus rapid transit, give us trains. And I'm here to tell you that I think you should tell them the same thing. And here are the reasons why. I spent a lot of time doing research on this. So what is bus rapid transit? Basically, what the idea is supposed to be that they physically block off a lane so that buses can pass by there, but cars cannot drive into a bus lane. And they say things like, well, it will give you the amenities of a train, but it will be cheaper. I want to point out a couple of things here. So this is the slide that was provided by Maryland Transit Authority on what bus rapid transit is. And I want you to notice that the best examples that they can come up with here are Richmond, Virginia, and Cleveland. I have nothing against those cities, but the population of Richmond is about 240,000, and the population of Cleveland is about 360,000. Baltimore's shrinking, but we're still 580,000. A transit system that works for these two cities is not going to work for a city that is literally twice the size. And these are the best examples they could come up with. I did some research on like, where else have we seen bus rapid transit? And the answer is Bogota, Colombia, Kolkata, India, and I think it was Mexico City. I don't remember what that third one was, but bus rapid transit is the system of choice for cities that are very cash strapped. And I think it's kind of a bummer that our government is considering giving us that kind of a system instead of light rail, which is the transit option of choice for San Francisco, Boston, New York, Seattle, and I think Phoenix, and also most European cities. Washington, D.C. is getting a light rail system, the Purple Line. I don't think it is just that they should get a light rail system while we have to settle for a half measure. So what am I asking you to do? I am asking you to go to, is this my next slide? Come on, there we go. Go to redlinemaryland.com, and there is a survey there where you can make your preferences known. Now, obviously you could just go there and say, actually, I want bus rapid transit. I don't care what Ernest says. You could do that. But I hope I've been convincing to you as to why you should advocate for light rail. The survey will also ask you a whole bunch of other things like, do you want a tunnel in this place, and do you want it to go through this street, or do you want to go through Boston Street, and all that kind of thing. I'm going to honestly leave that all up to you. But again, we should be advocating for light rail, not for bus rapid transit. This is the kind of thing that happens once in a generation, and we are way behind other cities. We really need to catch up. Elena, go ahead.
I'm totally all for light rail if we can get it. I was just wondering if you had any insight as to why the trolley system was discontinued in the first place, given that it's already built.
That predates me living in Baltimore.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, why was the trolley system in Baltimore dismantled?
Okay, well, I can tell you that, but a Google search would probably also answer the question. So Baltimore City used to have nearly 500 miles of streetcar line, 500 linear miles of streetcar line. We were famous around the world for having a really robust system. It wasn't run as sustainably as it could have been. There were several private companies that ran different segments of the system, as opposed to having a public or state-run or locally run system. But it really did serve people, and it touched every single community in this city from one end to the other. With the advent of the automobile, the post-war economic boom, suburbanization of America, those were General Motors and its nefarious takeover of the streetcars so that it could destroy them and force everyone into private car ownership. Those are all forces that led to the dismantling of Baltimore streetcar system, just like it did streetcar systems around the country. So we
Yeah.
have a great legacy that we need to restore. And I just a little plug, as one of your state elected officials, please fill in the Red Line survey. It really matters. It'll take you 3 minutes, and your voices are going to help determine what project we get. Really need to hear from you. Thank you for raising this, Ernest.
Go ahead.
Ernest, I really appreciate you bringing this up. I'm agreeing with you, and I also want to know, when I get down to the question of which line would work better for transit, I'd love to learn more from advocates in our community. Are there advocates for this that you recommend going to find more information about? Because we can't Google right now, we're in a room.
Right, so the question is, which advocates can we talk to about which route we should use? So, you know, I deliberately did not take a position on this. They have a couple of different routes available. They have actually 3 different options available, and they have to do with, on the east side, do we want to go through Boston Street, or do we want to go up underground, and on the west side, there's also a tunnel option and so forth. And my feeling on that was that I'm going to let others come to their own conclusions on that. As far as advocates you can talk to, my go-to of choice is the Baltimore Transit Equity Coalition.
Okay, thank you.
And I do not have their address, but they're pretty easy to Google and find. Joy.
Yeah, I would also recommend looking at like all the open house documents that are on this website, because they break down all of the posters they did at the open houses, like cost analyses, like ridership, like connections to like communities that have been disproportionately like disadvantaged by transit decisions. So all those things are on the website. Also, the maps show the different lines and example like renderings of like streetscapes. So we found it really interesting that like one of the options is like potentially making Fleet an eastern one-way streets, you know, so that they can put in a light rail. So just things to consider as you like look at the maps.
Right. And you know, so you reminded me of something. I attended one of those open houses, and MTA's own numbers show that light rail is more cost effective than bus rapid transit. I asked them about this, and they gave me a couple of different explanations. One is that if you have a system that is like, yes, it is set aside and it's for buses. However, it does mean that transporting, you know, every person transported is going to cost more than if they did a light rail. And the reason for that is because buses have more moving parts than trains do. They also require more people to keep them running, because you have a driver. Well, they both have drivers, I suppose, but a bus driver is different than a train driver, you know? And also trains just are bigger and move more people per trip than buses do. So MTA's own numbers show that bus rapid transit is not actually cost effective. The only reason to use it is in the short term, it will cost less money. And I want to point out to you all, in case you are very concerned about that, you may know that Japan has a very good train system. They've got those bullet trains that were built in the early 90s or the late 80s. Those went massively over budget. Today, nobody cares. So when you're thinking about the cost of mass transit, just think about this is what you can give to the next generation. All right, I have talked enough about that. And I think that, you know, you might be getting a little tired of listening to me. So I am going to just end with that. Again, I have said 3 things that I'm asking of you. One is we need people to volunteer to work on greening and tree planting for us. 2 is we need donations to keep PPNA running. And 3 is we want you to give feedback on the red line. With that being all said, are there any other announcements for the good of the group? Yes, go ahead.
Can you stand up or?
Just come over here so that the people
Okay.
online can hear
See, thank you guys on that, check them out. How's everybody doing? Hey, everybody doing? I'm Mike Anderson from D360. I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard of us, but we are a dirt bike STEM organization we're an organization that uses STEM. We use the dirt bike culture of Baltimore to teach STEM to youth. Right now, we're currently in your community at Patterson Park Public Charter School right on Lakewood Avenue. And what we're doing is we're utilizing our robust STEM program to teach youth. Currently, our program has been extremely, in my opinion, extremely successful in outreach and reaching youth. And we continue to grow. We've reached over 7,000 youth in Baltimore City. We utilize three main pillars, which is disrupting the prison pipeline via diversion programs. We pass the pamphlets around the city. Our diversion program, we also want to end cycle poverty, which we use our workforce development program. And also, I know we run out of time, so I'm just trying to speak to this. And also, we build bridges in communities, which is what I'm here for today. One way we want to build bridges in the community is we actually are having a community visitors day at Patterson Park Public Charter. And that if you guys go to the school, we have like a playground, like almost in the middle of the school. Really cool, by the way. We're having, it's actually an adult visitors day, so this is the exact audience we want to have involved. And it'll be on November 29th from 6 to 7:30. So similar to this time you guys are here now. I actually have the Eventbrite where you can sign up and register. We'll have some STEM experiments. We'll have some, merch and swag you can buy. See that Ernest has some of that merch that you guys have offered as well as a community. I mean, also just opportunity to learn more about the organization and some of the outreach, ways you can get involved and ways you can have us be involved in more of your community as well. And also, of course, we'll have our mini electric bikes, no gas bikes, no loud motors, but just like a little course where people can really see how we promote safety and how we promote not riding the streets. And also, of course, our mission and goal of building the country's first dirt bike camp. So definitely, I want you guys to come out. I'll probably email Ernest the actual flyer, but I have the Eventbrite link with me if you guys want to see more and learn more about the event we have upcoming.
All right, thank you.
Great.
And let's take this moment to introduce Katie to all of you. Why don't you come on up?
Thank you. Gracias, muchas gracias. Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody. So I am your new liaison officer for DPW, and that will be basically, I'm gonna be going out and educating people of the illegal dumping, also speaking with the Latin community out here, dealing with the immigrants, educating them on what the process is, what's DPW doing. I left some flyers here as well, regarding the stormwater drains and what's coming up for the future. So if anybody has any neighbors that they think may need some help, I can come by and flyer the block. I can talk to whoever it is, that you think need just talking to, and maybe educate them on how to use 311 and what the process is for 311 and how we can throw out our garbage, how we can try to stop the rats in the neighborhood by physically thinking about removing garbage properly. That right now is like my main goal, because I've seen the rats here. I've walked down the block, I've walked in the alley, and I'm thinking to myself, let me get some of these people and let's see if we can try to gang them up together, and then we can do like blocks at a time, and then we can stick, the rat treatment in there and get them taken care of, and then, and just roll that bowl along until we look like Fells Point, right? No dirt on the floor, no garbage. So, but if anybody has any questions, or if you know of a neighbor, you can send me an email, point them out. I will flyer a block. I will have conversations with them. I can translate anything if there's other questions that they may have. regarding, you know, what the board is doing, or, if they wanna be on the board, we could have them, you know, also come in and be in the community meetings. If that's something that, you know, your neighbors may, you know, you may have a neighbor involved in, or, who is interested. Okay, but, I will give them my cards. You'll have my email, my phone number. If there's anything you have, you know, just let me know, okay?
Yep, and we have just typed your email address into the chat on Zoom, so people have that.
Thank you.
Any other, yes,
She didn't say it, but she's the new liaison for the whole District 1.
I didn't say
So,
so.
so it'll be-
she is new liaison for District 1, so
Okay. She's taking my place.
right.
I'm not going anywhere, but, we're working together on making sure. We've already, flyered, Highlandtown around, Baltimore, Noble, Pratt, going all the way down to Orleans. So, we are reaching out and knocking on doors at this time. So that's what's happening right now. We're just coming further into Patterson Park.
All right, thank you.
Ernest, who was that speaking?
That was Larry. He was,
Larry.
he was explaining,
Larry.
that Larry Nutley.
How are you?
Mr. Nutley. Hi, Mr. Nutley. Okay, you haven't retired. You're still around.
Yeah, I'm still here. I got, the 5th and the 10th district, and I'm working with, 3 others in our office to make sure that we are able to reach out to all, our new liaison, who is, Hades, she just said, is our, liaison that is speaking to all of our Latinos and actually working with all of our flyers that we now have and getting them into, Spanish, so that, everybody has a fair opportunity to know what's going on in our city, as well as if you have some other stuff that you'd like us to help you on, we're more than happy to do that.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Nutley. Thank you, Ernest.
All right, so they do kick us out at 8, so I'm gonna end this pretty soon, just checking to see if there are any other announcements. Anything to tell the group? Okay, so like I said, our next meeting is December 11th, and we will be hearing from Graham Projects, who are the people doing the decorations of the traffic calming and how they're gonna give us an update on everything that is going on next. And other than that, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for being involved. And if you're in the room, please make sure that all of my cookies disappear. I don't want to take them home. All right. Thank you very much. And we are calling an end to this meeting.